Hello, viewers and subscribers. Welcome once again my new screencast. This screencast is a continuation of uh, the the screencast from the last year about how can you implement or how can you prepare the requirement, and then how can you define your use cases, and then how can you prepare your projects with as a proper structure way, and how can you start the implementation of some REST APIs or custom REST APIs with the different non-SQL databases. I have many examples in my channels with the SQL databases like Postgres MySQL, Oracle, and then we had a plan to make the same functionalities with the non-SQL database like Cassandra. That's usual already. So here the Cassandra based REST API publication or published REST API with the Cassandra as a non-SQL database. And then I had only many examples like from Redis based REST API implementations, and even though Elasticsearch based REST API implementation, GameFire REST database, non-SQL database based implementation, and then MongoDB based um, REST API implementations. It's those are implementations, and that's the very specific, how can say, very specific use cases that we had. But for UKs, maybe you have the different use cases, but it is the implementation, the project preparations, and then implementations, and then structure of the projects implementation, and build the project as a package as jar files and deployments, and the installation of the respective databases is everywhere is same. But uh, you have different, maybe you have different use cases. You can very quickly adjust your implement your use cases or implement your specific REST services that you need your company or your professional day, or your implementation or your research works. That's the idea we try to share with you. How can you uh, implement the REST services with the different SQL based databases and then non-SQL based databases? And we already had some examples or screencast with the Elasticsearch, GameFire, Cassandra, MongoDB, and then Redis, and the non-SQL based database like Postgres, MySQL, and Oracle, and so on and so forth. So today I try to continue the implementation that we had in the last years. In the here, if you see the MongoDB implementation, MongoDB REST API Microservices. This will be the continuation of the previous screencast. And I mean, the if you see the previous screencast, we continue that one. It will be the many screencast, or we divide it like screencast from very requirement stage to the development, and the development to the testing, and then after the testing is successful, then you can deploy the applications into the client machines or any part of the world. You can install the machines, because we packed as a standalone jar files with embedded tomcats, and you can do whatever you like to do. You can also install the application with the cloud platform, because if you have a MongoDB database in the cloud, and then you can just connect the MongoDB database and run the application. It works automatically. That's the idea. That's I trying to give it to you. How can you start from the very beginning level to the installation and deployment levels? As that's my intention for today. For this screencast. So let's have a start the our implementation, or some theory part of the concept of the implementations. So if you if you saw the pictures, like we already talked about a little bit detail about these pictures, like we had some architecture. You see that in the backend server, in the backend, in the database has different environment, development environment, test environments, QA environments, production environments. So if you are developing here, like you have backend machines, and then this is your middle layers in the API levels, API implementations, and your front end layer. So it's the diagram based on the Java based any framework like TimeLab or the framework or JSP or JSF, or doesn't matter, or Grails. There's a front-end technology, just you consume the REST services and build the web applications. One, I have many videos in my channels, like how can you replace the Java based front-end technology with the JavaScript based frameworks like Angular, React, and then Vue, and then so on and so forth. It is possible. So that means if you have really if you have really your design properly your REST APIs, your custom REST API. This is the REST API for the health service. And the one of the requirement was the client would like to see that some to make some front-end technology with for developing some web application for health service or health management systems, like every patients and the medical institute and medical centers, they would like to design it, they would like to present. And then even though the management of the patients and the registration process, that's the requirement was. So from the specification of the for this for these APIs. So we did the implementation based on the MySQLs, and then this is the SQL world. And then the client said they need something non-SQL, same functionalities with the non-SQL database. That's why we try to build uh, those same functionalities, those REST API with one copy of the MySQL, because we already had some MySQLs, and then based we did it. And then after they said, okay, we need the MongoDB based implementations. And if you see the pictures, like just simply change the NoSQL database MongoDB. Yes, there's, you know, that MongoDB is possible to Cassandra already, is Gamefire, Elasticsearch, and so on and so forth. But the requirement was the implementation should have the MongoDB implementations. And that's why we did the implementation with the MySQL based implementations. And then we have same implementation, meaning that we take the same domain models, the ORM, object relational mappings, and then we just simply change the annotation that's supported by the MongoDB database. That's the simply change. And but the same functionalities and the same features that need the CRUD operation, create, update, delete for each of the domain object, and then they can do it. That's why I said, if you have a REST service, it doesn't matter which backend server you prepare, just you need a backend server and install the REST API, and that's all. If you have a SQL world, then do your SQL backend installation, the backend server preparations, and install the application, your jar files, and it works automatically. So and then this is, you see the pictures like this, you now we got the idea what means. So you have a backend machines and the backend servers, MongoDB, and you have middle layer, all the APIs, and then you have something like that to implement the the requirements. You see the requirement, which set of data you need to be implement for the all basic CRUD operation for your REST API functionalities. You see the demographic informations for the peoples, the populations, and then it has a administrative data sets, and it has a health informations, and it has a patient data sets. It has a medical management data sets and address location. And that means geographical location, then every health centers and address of the patients, and all geographically can track it. That's why maybe that's the idea to use the MongoDB. MongoDB had some geospatial extension. So that means you have a data, latitude, longitude, and then you can visualize those data into the maps. That's was the idea for this data set. That means this is all the domain informations. Then just what we need, we define it, we fix the requirements, and then we build our domain models. Out of domain model